Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rise or Die podcast. This is yours truly, Stephen M. Lowisz, for episode 86, Extreme Ownership. The term extreme ownership first came up for me when I read a book called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. He's actually, I think he's like a 20-year Navy SEAL vet. I know he's a Navy SEAL for a fact. I don't remember how many years, but he was a commander in the SEALs, and now he's a leadership consultant for a lot of really, really big companies. And he came out with a book, and I read it, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago. In fact, I should probably read it yet again. It's that good. But it introduced the concept that it's our duty to take responsibility for everything in our lives, whether it's actually our fault or not. If you have an employee that's screwing up under you, well, is it his fault? Not really. It's actually yours. You're the one that ultimately is held responsible for delivering for a client, managing your people, yada, yada, yada. If you're overweight, is it the spoon's fault or is it yours? Well, it's yours. If you get into an accident, someone hits you, is it your fault? Probably not. Well, maybe 50-50 shot. But should you take responsibility? Absolutely. There's another stupid driver on the road. They're driving like a maniac. But if we had our guard up, there's a good chance that we could have avoided it. Now, I'm taking this to the extreme, pun intended, extreme ownership. Anyways, I'm not a comedian. This came up for me over the last couple of days. So one of the guys on my team is a part-time PPC expert. Well, at least I thought he was an expert. He talks really good talk. Now, I have very little tolerance for bullshit. I have very little tolerance for someone following through on commitments. This guy has done both. He has been frustrating as hell. He's been new to my team actually only since Monday. It's Thursday and I'm getting ready to fire him. And it really comes down to a lack of willing to take responsibility. I'm not talking about results because in 3 or 4 days, there's only so much that you can do from a result standpoint. I understand that. But when it comes down to even little things like missing calls, not sticking to the timeline that you've said, following through on anything that you've committed to, well, that really pisses me off, as I'm sure it pisses off all of us. But then I had to ask myself, where am I doing this? Where am I falling short? Where am I making excuses? Like at the end of the day, is this guy responsible for delivering for my clients? Well, kind of, but I'm more responsible. It's my job to deliver for each and every client. Where he falls short, now I have to pitch in and make up for it while I go and replace him, which is exactly what I'm going to do. But I started to ask myself, like across body, being, balance, and business, not just business, where am I falling through on commitments and not being a man of my word? A man is only as good as his word. Call me old-fashioned or whatever you want, but a man is only as good as his word. So I started to look. Like, do I hold my commitments to my wife? I think. But it's kind of interesting to reflect on. Do I hold my commitments to my faith in God? Not nearly as much as I should, no. Do I hold my commitments in body? No. No, not at all. Do I in business? I absolutely do my best, but there are some areas where I'm falling short. At the end of the day, we need to take extreme ownership in our lives. Frankly, it makes life easier. Although we take responsibility, it gets rid of all the bullshit, all the reasons, all the excuses. So, what I want to encourage you to do is just look across body, being, balance, and business. Are you taking extreme ownership, and are you following through on your commitments to your wife, to your kids, family, friends, business partners and associates, employees, even. Yes, you have commitments to your employees, commitments to clients.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rise or Die podcast with Stephen and Lowisz.
Where do you need to amp up your level of commitment and take responsibility?
Wet T-shirt. And no, the title probably doesn't give you a good idea of what I'm actually talking about.
Body and being.
I'm talking about a literal wet T-shirt, so get your mind out of the gutter.
We all excel in some areas, not in others. I'm taking ownership in business. I don't think I see where
more
I'm
than being
short.
Cold. I hate
I'm
being
taking
cold.
ownership in my marriage.
I'm not talking chilly, but like chill
body and being
to the bone. You know, I get up in the morning a couple days a week.
Not 100%
go to the gym and jump in the pool.
But talk to me tomorrow, and I will be.
You know, once I'm in the pool,
head on straight, getting my shit together.
But it's a complete mental fuck. It's a mind
that's all I have for episode 86, Extreme Ownership. As always,
I don't know why. I
send
have
me any feedback, questions, etc. Stephen
than I do when I'm already up. To just get
subscribe
into
at riseordiepodcast.com for some
it was
of
a little
exclusive
different though.
Email content.
So
and
I
lastly,
combined actually 2 days worth of workouts.
Someone that you want more for out of their life.
A 50-minute bike ride and
every day, just like
a 4-mile run.
I'll see you tomorrow for episode 87.
And normally I take a couple shirts in my gym bag just so, you know, but as you get really sweaty, especially during long endurance, cardio and exercise, the cold tends to seep in, right? Wet T-shirt, again, literal wet T-shirt. It makes it cold as hell. Well, I forgot extra shirts today. And, you know, I was actually feeling perfectly fine when it comes to how I was, you know, breathing, my muscles. I was doing completely fine, probably could have pushed even a little bit harder. But holy shit, that wet T-shirt was fucking with me. That wet T-shirt made me want to quit. That wet T-shirt made it miserable. And it was all mental, 100% mental. I'm a little chilly on the outside. I've got a couple extra pounds. I've got insulation, as I call it. I'm slightly fluffy, right? But man, that T-shirt was rough. And, you know, when you're doing a lot of cardio, you have some time to think. And I realize I have a wet T-shirt in every area of my life. And yes, this is a little cheesy, but so be it. I have a wet T-shirt in every area of my life. And for me, a wet T-shirt is something small that's fucking with my head that actually has no effect on me physically. It has no effect on me except the effect I let it have on me. There was nothing miserable about the dang T-shirt. It was all mental. In my marriage, there are things that get under my skin that really, truly just don't matter. In business, I try to do shit that I don't want to do, and it doesn't affect me physically at all. I just don't want to fucking do it, so I have a mental block, a roadblock up. I have a wet T-shirt in every area of my life. For me, a wet T-shirt, you know, when it comes to faith, is simply, I don't want to keep reading the Bible because I feel like I'm ADD and I don't have the patience. That's the same thing. It's a wet T-shirt. It's essentially a distraction that's getting in the way of what I want, but it's all mental. We let mental irritations, mental discomfort fuck with us. Stop us from getting the results that we want. Stop us from getting the results that we demand across all of the core 4, body, being, balance, and business. So, again, I know the concept is a little cheesy, but hey, you know, I'm going to share whatever I get out of that day with you, and today it happens to be a wet T-shirt. Tomorrow it might be a dry towel. Who knows? But the question I'll pose to you is, what is your wet T-shirt in body, being, balance, and business? What's the small mental irritation, the mental roadblock that you have set up that's stopping you from the success that you want? I pushed through today. That T-shirt did not affect me at all. I was cold. I was kind of shivering a little bit. So all I did was run harder. And then I forgot all about it because my body temperature was plenty high. So what's the wet T-shirt that you're going to rip apart and tear down across body, being, balance, and business over the next day or two? Do me a favor. Share this podcast with someone that you think could benefit from it. Always appreciate a good share. And don't forget to subscribe at riseordiepodcast.com. Talk to you soon.